Good evening and welcome to the Golden Glades Interchange Project public meeting. I am Senior Community Outreach Specialist Sergis Duarte, and I am joined today by FDOT Design Project Manager Raul Quintela and Consultant Resident Engineer Raj Rangaswamy. Today is Tuesday, February 17, 2026, and we would like to kindly thank the City of Miami Gardens for allowing us to host this hybrid public information meeting at their Senior Family Center. And a very special thank you to everyone here who is taking time out of their schedules to join us in person or online to learn more about the project. If you need translation assistance in Spanish or Creole, please let me know. Si usted necesita traducción durante la reunión, por favor comuníquese conmigo. Si usted puede levantar la mano o pedir ayuda a través del chat, un miembro de nuestro equipo lo asistirá. At this time, we would like to recognize any federal, state, or city officials that are joining us. Okay, and seeing nothing online or here in person. So what is our meeting purpose here today? Tonight, one of our primary goals is to walk you through several improvements that we are advancing as part of the GGI project along Florida's Turnpike between Northwest 177 Terrace and Northwest 199th Street. This allows the community to experience the benefits sooner rather than later than waiting for a future standalone project. And so this approach maximizes the value of the project while responding directly to regional needs. We also want to emphasize that these improvements will be constructed within the existing FDOT Turnpike right-of-way limits, and no private properties will be purchased to build this work. In addition to discussing what's new, we also want to bring you up to speed on what's already underway. This is our meeting agenda. It consists of going through some housekeeping items, providing an overview of the project, with providing information on the project area, the benefits, scope of work, progress, and what to expect during construction. Following the presentation, we'll move into the question and answer session. Please note that this meeting is being recorded. If you're calling in by phone, you won't be able to provide any comments during the meeting. I do encourage you, if you do want to provide comments after the meeting, you can call 305-588-6399 or email sergis.duarte@dot.state.fl.us. Tonight's presentation is also available on our project website, go-ggi.com. During the question and answer session, in-person attendees will be called on first, and virtual attendees will remain muted throughout the presentation, except during the Q&A session. To provide a comment, you can use the raise hand button on the GoToWebinar panel, and you will be able to provide your comments via the questions box. If you do experience any technical difficulties, you can call 305-333-7145 or email jose@hmlpublicoutreach.com for further assistance. Okay, so our project team members joining me here at the table, like I mentioned, is Raul Quintela and Raj Rangaswamy. Our FDOT construction project manager, Manny Espinal, wanted to be here today, but he's traveling back from Tallahassee after providing a GGI project presentation at the FDOT central office. The Florida Department of Transportation is required to comply with various non-discrimination laws and regulations, including Title VI of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Public participation at this meeting is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express their concerns about Title VI may do so by contacting Interim District 6 Title VI Coordinator Win at 305-470-5201 or in writing at FDOT 1000 Northwest 111th Avenue, Miami, Florida 33172. You can also email that at dat.hunyh@dot.state.fl.us. Or you can also contact Interim State Title VI Coordinator Aldrin Sanders at 850-414-4764 or in writing at the Equal Opportunity Office, 605 Swanee Street, MS65, Tallahassee, Florida, 32399, or email Aldrin at aldrin.sanders@dot.state.fl.us. At this moment, I'd like to hand it over to Raul to discuss the GGI project overview, area, and benefits.
Good evening. The GGI project is a partnership between the FDOT District 6 and the Florida Turnpike. The current project cost is $1.04 billion. Construction of the GGI started on March 2024, and it will be completed in the fall of 2031. The construction team for the project are GGI Constructors, joint venture, handling the actual construction of the project, and Consort, helping us with the construction, engineering, and inspection. Next slide. The main purpose of the GGI project is to enhance regional mobility and revitalize this major transportation interchange, which includes connection to 5 essential roadways: I-95, Palmetto Expressway, the Florida Turnpike, State Road 9, and State Road 7. The GGI project is part of the Moving Florida Forward Infrastructure Initiative. As part of this initiative, FDOT identified previous approved projects that were lacking funding for construction. $4 million were from the general revenue surplus has been dedicated to the Moving Florida Forward Infrastructure Initiative to advance construction projects around the state, such as GGI project. That will address congestion, improve safety, ensure resiliency of our transportation network, and enhance Florida's supply chain and economic growth. Let's take a look at the project area. This is an overhead view of the interchange. The Palmetto Expressway and Northwest 19th Avenue are the limits to the west. The limits to the east are at Northwest 167th Street and Northwest 2nd Avenue. The north limits are Northwest 199th Street and the Florida Turnpike, and Northwest 135th Street along I-95 are the south limits. The highlighted area represents the additional scope along the turnpike that was added to the GGI project. Let's discuss the project benefits. On this slide, we showcase the FDOT Compass, which serve as the guiding principles for FDOT. Key areas include safety, resiliency, supply chain, technology, workforce development, and communities in the center of the compass, as everything we do impacts our communities. In the next slides, we'll be highlighting how the GGI project complies with all the focus areas on the compass. One of the most significant components of the project is the construction of 34 new bridges. These bridges are designed to enhance regional mobility by creating more direct connections between major roadways and surrounding communities. As an example of this project includes a new flyover ramp that connects State Road 826 eastbound to I-95 northbound. Safety is another major priority of the project. We are updating roadway lighting to improve nighttime visibility for drivers. New lanes and ramps will enhance emergency access and response time. Another key investment area is drainage and long-term infrastructure resiliency. The project includes installing more than 50,000 feet of new drainage pipes. Here in South Florida, effective drainage is essential. This project also brings benefit to the region at the local economy. The interchange serves as a major freight connector, providing direct access to South Florida seaports and airports. By improving traffic flow and reducing bottlenecks, we're helping goods and move more efficiently across the supply chain. We're using the latest available technology to upgrade signals, lighting, and ITS systems within the project limits. Examples are installing new runway vehicle detection system at key locations and expanding the network of traffic monitoring cameras throughout the corridor. Beyond infrastructure, This project is also creating multiple jobs, from engineers and equipment operator to inspectors and supporting staff. This project supports a wide workforce. And with this, I'm going to turn it over to Raj to discuss more of the GGI scope.
Thanks, thanks, Rahul, and thanks for coming on a work day.
We will have after the presentation, we will have a Q&A session, and we'll open that up to people who are here in person first. Thank you.
Yeah, as you're aware, this project is already under construction. In fact, today is the 702nd day, 702 day. So thank you for your cooperation during all these days of construction. Now, we did show a slide which showed the improvements. If you look at the back of the hall, there are some nice boards. Basically, those boards are going to show what are we doing in this particular area. We are widening from 177 Terrace, going to Northwest 199. We are also adding a noise wall on the northbound. Plus, we are replacing the Golden Glades Toll Plaza. Plus, we are also doing this restriping and resurfacing from 183rd Street between Sunshine State Parkway on the west and Northwest 12th Avenue. And these are the visuals. Probably you've driven these multiple times, and you must have seen a lot of construction going on already. You can go to the next slide. And this is the area which you will see more construction, which is going to happen pretty soon. We are developing the final plans, and then pretty soon around the toll plaza, you will see the widening going on the northbound side. Next one. This is what we call it as a typical section. In fact, it's hard for you to concentrate on the screen, but in the back there is a nice board. You can see it's basically looking north, and you can see the noise wall on the left side, on your right side, and the existing southbound noise wall will remain as is, and you can see that in the picture. And usually we get a lot of questions on how does our noise wall is going to look like, because it's a nice looking wall, and that's the finish. You're going to get it. This is again when you're driving on the turnpike, that's what you're going to see. Okay, and this is the height of about 22 feet. Now, coming to the major project scope, which is already under construction, as I said, we are already over 700 days. One of the major movement we are doing as part of the GGI is if you are driving eastbound on 826, and if you want to go to northbound 95, right now you are taking a very circuitous route, going south and then coming north and going and mingling with the intersections, and it causes a lot of delay. As for this project improvements, we are building a direct connect flyover ramp going from 826 eastbound to I-95 northbound. If you have driven the project, which I think every one of you have done so far, these are the visuals you're going to see, and these are the aerial pictures. That flyover bridge, the bridge work is pretty much complete, and we are trying to open the bridge well ahead of the scheduled opening date, because the original scheduled opening date, we were thinking somewhere in April of 2031, but due to the tremendous efforts by the contractor who has allocated a lot of resources, we are forecasting it to be open sometime in the latter part of 26 or early 27 or latter part of 26, which is a tremendous improvement for this project. And the next one is, you have seen there is a lot of traffic coming in on Turnpike. Right now, if you're driving, there's only one lane going from southbound Turnpike to I-95 southbound, and that's where a lot of delays over the years. News coming, but it's going to take some time. You're going to have 2 additional lanes. You know, there will be a general, there will be an express lane plus the 2 general purpose lane, and that's going to change the dynamics of this whole traffic and the intersection. So that's what the visuals you're seeing now. We have made significant progress on that. but we are still working on it. Even though the project was originally stated at 7.5 years, we are making more progress. Definitely, this project is not going to go for 7.5 years. It will be done ahead of that. And 95 widening, because that's some of the critical work we are doing. And that's what going to ease up the congestion. You will get most of the old bridges are gone. We are putting up the new bridges. So that progress is going on right now. And these are another view of the project progress. And these are the enhancement for the 95 and general roadway. So you can see that. And one other thing, if you see the progress, if we have already shifted on the, if you're driving southbound, we have put the traffic on the new facilities on the west side. This job will be built in 4 stages. Right now, you see the traffic is on the west side, and they are working on the east side, right? Because the traffic is in the middle. In few months from now, we're going to take the traffic from the middle and going to put it on the new west side, east side widenings, which is happening right now. And then we're going to go back in the middle. In 2 phases, we're going to finish that. So all this tells me this is not going to be a 7.5 year project. It's going to be earlier than that. And we have some numbers, which these are the other views. And this is a very important slide because it'll show you where the progress is. You know, to put it in the perspective, drainage structures, we have 55% already completed. On 7.5 years, we are still not, we have not hit the 2-year mark yet. We are at 702 days, but we already finished 55% of the drainage work, and the drainage pipes are 56% complete. The bridge beams, which is a very good indicator of how the bridges are getting built, we are at about 40%. And finally, the most critical data point we look at is how much bridge piles are completed. We have completed today 61% of all the piles, because when the piles go in, that's when the action starts. We drive the piles, we come back, and then we do our columns and the beams and everything. So overall, this job is progressing very well. And of course, we will answer your questions in our question and answer session. I think that we could pretty much.
Thank you, Raj.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. So to build this project safely, we do anticipate some impacts to the traffic flow while construction is ongoing. And that means roadway detours, traffic shifts, lane closures, sidewalk detours, and around the clock work zones will be going on during the life of the project. And this will increase travel times when traveling through the work zone. So we would like to note, very important, that while the project is ongoing, access will be maintained to all surrounding properties. We acknowledge that there are potential inconveniences while work is taking place, such as dust, noise, vibration, and construction crews in the area. And our team is committed to implementing effective mitigation strategies that include water, sweeping, vibration monitoring, having certified flaggers as needed, and coordinating with partner agencies on a regular basis. As part of the GGI project, we use a platform called One Network. And so that allows the contractor to communicate lane closures in real time across applications such as Apple Maps, Google Maps, and Waze. Other mitigation strategies include using overhead dynamic message signs that you see on the highway to announce upcoming closures. And 2 additional road rangers are assigned to the Golden Glades interchange. And we also coordinate with Miami-Dade County whenever we have a full closure and we need to detour traffic and we know there's going to be a good amount of traffic that will be going through a roadway that doesn't normally go through, like State Road 7 or State Road 9. We coordinate with Miami-Dade County to optimize the traffic signal timing throughout the project limits. FDOT understands the importance of proactive and effective communication with the community. And the GGI project has a dedicated multilingual community outreach team. So that means we have project information available in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. To better serve the community, we have a continuous combination of engaging the public via pop-up events and door-to-door visits, along with electronic project updates via email that also get posted on the GGI on the project website, which is go-ggi.com. We also use social media posts and videos to distribute important updates, such as upcoming roadway closures, detours, and progress information. So at this point, we have arrived at the questions and answers portion of the meeting. At this time, I would like to invite design build engineer Anit Medina and senior environmental scientist Douglas Zhang to join us here at the panelist table. We will allow our virtual attendees to submit their questions. All participants will have 3 minutes to provide comments and questions. And yeah, we're setting up the chairs here. You can put one here on this side. And Doug, if you want to come over to this side. And so we set up this microphone here for anyone who wants to come up and ask any questions. Just keep in mind that we ask you to keep your questions to 3 minutes. That way we can give everybody a chance to provide their question. Please remember to state your full name and address for the record. At this moment, anybody here joining us in person, we have the microphone set up. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. Laverne Deer, you said my address?
Yes.
18721 Northwest 11th Road. Mine is just a little bit more of a concern because I've driven to get to the 7th Avenue at night, and I see people going in the direction of where you guys are doing the construction. So I'm asking, can there be clearer signs for people who are not familiar with the traffic and everything that you just explained, so they don't end up somewhere else on the side of the road?
And this is State Road 7, right?
This is State Road 7.
Okay, not
leading
Northwest
over-
7th Avenue, that's over by the Top Golf.
No, this is going to South 7th Avenue.
Okay, by the park and ride.
So you go on State
Yeah.
Road 9 and then you go over to 7th Avenue.
Understood. We appreciate that comment. Thank you.
Howard Dupree, 1734 Northwest 192nd Street, Miami Gardens. My question is related to the walls, specifically on the west side of the turnpike, right across here.
On the Rolling Oak side.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Right now, there's an existing wall there,
Yes,
but it's only 7 feet tall.
correct.
How impactful or effective is that?
Doug, would you want to take that question?
A noise abatement to the neighborhood.
So we do a noise study as part of this and all other projects. Unfortunately, and I'm not an engineer, so I will pin it on them. They would be able to explain it better. But my understanding is that you have Florida Gas Transmission has a gas pipeline on the west side of the turnpike's main line there. And so the wall that is there, if they were to remove the wall and build a new wall, they wouldn't be able to build it because there's not adequate space because of the gas pipeline. So the 7-foot wall that was there, nobody would say that's optimal. Obviously, when we do build a noise wall, if we had the ability to start fresh and build something new, we would build something taller, but they just don't have the space or the construction, the ability to construct a wall in that space. That's the reason that they kept the existing wall there. I don't think anybody thinks it's an optimal situation. It's just there's no way that they could tear out the wall and build a new wall with the amount of room that they have.
So along the turnpike the entirety of the turnpike, this is the only place that they can't place a wall?
No, we have plenty of other places where we run into this problem as well. Places where they're limited, like there's an 8-foot wall and they can't go taller. This isn't the only location, but it's not ideal. I totally get it, but that's the constraint that we're operating under.
Are there any other materials been investigated that could suffice for a noise abatement along there?
So again, the problem is really that they just, the footer of the wall, I'm not a structural engineer, but my understanding is you need to have a certain amount of space to either side of the wall in order to be able to build something taller. There's just no real other measures that we could, I don't know if,
And it,
Let's have Anit, if you want to add to that.
Yes,
Anit is our design build engineer.
that was a great start to the question. It's a great question. So he's definitely right. The reason why that noise wall isn't getting replaced is actually because you do have Florida gas transmission running under the existing footing of the wall today. So if we were to replace the wall, the footing of the wall will be in direct contact with FGT, with Florida gas transmission line. Even through construction, you're looking at you have to embed at least another 5 feet in the ground just to be able to excavate or your footing, then actually do your noise wall. That would be pretty much in conflict. There's also not just one Florida gas transmission line in that area, there's two. So you have like a space of about 5 feet to 4 feet. It kind of mixes around, but it's running right under the existing wall today. That's what it had to remain.
I hear you, but it's unacceptable. What would you do if this was Boca or Coral Gables?
So let me, I could add a little bit more
Go
to it.
for it,
So for the gas
please.
transmission, not only do they have the physical conflict with them, they also have a space about 20 feet next to them. They pretty much give you a room that you cannot construct or design anything around those 20-foot clear area that they give us.
the term they use is the specified width.
Specified width.
The
Thank you for that.
specified
Yes.
width.
So not only are we in direct conflict with them, we also have another 20 feet of specified width that we cannot do construction or design around that. And in that area, we're also very close already to the right of way itself. So FGT pretty much, it's kind of in the same path that you have from the wall, almost very close to the right of way as well.
And we deal with this
Yeah.
all up into
Yes.
Palm Beach County and Broward County. It's not just here in Miami-Dade. FGT is a constant thorn in our side because it's hard to be able to operate around them.
And to even give a little bit more value to that, FDOT has done a great job at negotiating with FGT and even adapting projects. Even within the Golden Glades, they had to redesign the job a few times just to be able to provide the capacity back to the community and try to not impact Florida gas transmission so the job can be moving forward. So this is not the only location, it's the only location that is applicable right now to just get the capacity moving forward and still negotiating with adding value back.
Okay for now.
But thank you
Thank
for
you,
the
Mr.
question.
Dupree.
Thank you.
Hello, Janet Gray, 1461 Northwest 192nd Street. Okay, I'm on the east side of the turnpike.
On the Norland side.
Norland.
Yeah.
Okay, just for records, because you did answer quite a few of the questions
Yeah.
out front. The wall that's being placed there, from my understanding, is 22 feet high.
Correct.
Okay, so with the expansion of the turnpike, how close to the wall would that go from the turnpike side? Because I asked for the noise purposes, and will that, you mentioned, be ramps and bridges? Will ramps and bridges be in that area from between 183rd Street and 199?
You want to answer that, Anit?
Yeah, I could definitely take that one. It's a great question. So right now we are widening the northbound of
Mhm.
Turnpike, so it's the one closer to the noise wall location. Just for some reference, there's not going to be new ramps added to it elevated. The only elevated bridges are going to be your existing Miami Gardens Bridge
Okay.
and your 199 bridge that we're not touching. When it comes to the Miami Gardens Bridge, right now that one is getting widened about 22 feet. From the existing elevation that is today, we're just going to extend it out another 22 feet. And that roadway is going to be 22 foot away, pretty much more than what the existing is today, only halfway in between Miami Gardens and 199, and it goes back to the existing.
Okay, so on the other side of the wall, my house faces the turnpike. Will there be any landscaping or beautification on that side? Because I'm going to be looking directly at a wall.
So as of right now, you're going to have the wall, and then you're going to have a fence, which is the one that's there today too.
Or so the fence is not going to be removed,
It might be replaced through the construction.
and the trees.
The trees right now, all the trees that are within the turnpike right away, they're getting relocated. to a
Okay.
different section because they're in conflict with the wall. For any beautification that you're gonna have is gonna happen on the strip of the right of way from FDOT and the Miami Gardens because they own the other small strip of grass before you see the actual roadway in front of your house.
Okay.
So that will remain as is today, but everything from the fence to the west, that trees are going to be replaced and the noise wall is going to be installed.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. My name is David Ritchie. I live at 1663 Northwest 193rd Street, and I would like to piggyback a little bit on what Howard was saying here. The noise wall, the 7 foot. On the east side, you're going 22 feet. First of all, we already have a problem with the 7 foot wall from the standpoint of the noise. Miami Gardens, probably a couple of years ago, department started trimming the sea grape trees and the noise got louder. Even though I understand that sea grapes don't supposed to be a noise barrier, but it helped quite a bit. So they trimmed them down for keep Turnpike beautiful, whatever. And we received more noise in our area. Now, as you're going up with the 22-foot wall and you still have the 7-foot wall here, you're expanding the highway, which means you're anticipating more traffic, which means you're anticipating more noise. It is my understanding that noise can vibrate off the 22, come right back into the the Rolling Oaks community. So is there something we could do with that? I doubt it, but am I on track with that statement?
Doug, do you want to add to that?
Sure. So the question you're asking, if I'm following you, is you're
Increased
concerned about
noise.
noise reflecting off of the far wall and then being directed back to you.
Mhm.
I get that question fairly often when you have a community that's opposite a noise wall, especially if they don't have one. There is some effect. I don't believe it is a significant effect, and I'll explain to you why if you think about the physics of it. So you have traffic noise being generated by the cars. This noise has to travel in the opposite direction, away from the source, hits the wall. When it hits the wall, there are four things.
But I don't understand the traveling away from the source.
So if the traffic is, so you're on the west side of the highway, right?
Correct,
The wall is on the east side of the highway.
correct.
So the traffic that's traveling on the highway, you're concerned about noise that's going to travel east away from you, hit the wall, and then be reflected back towards the west. That's the question you're asking, right?
No, you got the traffic going north.
Well, there's
Creating
traffic
the
and there's
noise.
traffic in both directions.
Okay.
But what I'm saying
Mhm.
is the question you're asking is noise is going to travel
To the wall,
east,
yes.
hit the wall, bounce off the wall, be directed back to the west towards
Mhm.
where you live.
Mhm.
Okay. So there are not all the noise that is directed towards that wall is going to be reflected back to you.
Right, not all of it.
There's multiple
Exactly.
things that happen. Some of the noise is absorbed by the wall. Some of the noise travels through the wall to the other side of the wall.
To where this lady lives?
Where yeah, a small amount, but there is some transmission through the wall. Some of the noise gets diffracted. It'll hit the wall and it'll be directed in a direction out into space.
Mhm.
And then a small percentage of that is going to hit the wall, be directed back towards you.
Which will be combined with the already noise that's
Sure.
on this side and
Correct.
create even more noise.
Yep. No, understood. But the point
The
I'm
question
trying,
is, what can we do about it?
I mean, I don't
Or
know
what can be
if,
done
I don't
about
know
it?
if
Can we
landscaping or other
can we soundproof
measures.
the homes or something? Or, I mean, it's
We don't
it's
have,
really crazy.
we don't have a program for individual homes. That's something like airports do that sort of thing, but there's no Federal Highway Administration or FDOT program for insulating homes. And again, I get it, the 7-foot wall is less than optimal, and we would never today build something like that. But it's just sort of a
Catch 22.
unavoidable. Yeah, I hate having to tell people that. The last thing I want to say is I don't really have a good answer for you, but I really don't have a good answer for you.
Now, what?
No. Hold on, if there's any other questions, because I just
Yeah.
remember that we also have a virtual component. So if we do have any discourse, you are welcome to join us at the microphone.
Well, going back to the vegetation side, is there something we can do about that? Because really, when the sea grape trees started getting trimmed, the noise just increased. And it works. Any kind of barrier that's in between that breaks up sound works or helps. And I don't know if it's the stadium who's saying make sure they're trimmed so low or what to make it beautify or to be beautiful or whatever.
I'm sure there could be a coordination with the maintenance department to see why they are being reducing the height.
Well, it looks good, but impacts the community, I think, tremendously. And I know they say it doesn't help, but it does.
We'll definitely bring it up.
Yeah, we can get back to you on that. If you don't mind, after, I would love to get your contact information. We can stay in contact.
Okay.
And we can look further into that. Because obviously after we finish construction, it is going back to the maintenance team. So we want to make sure that we can relay that comment to them, or at least find out more information about that, or how often they trim it, and provide your
They're doing
comment
it
and
pretty
feedback.
regularly right now. What did I get everything, Howard? I agree.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, sir. Appreciate it. Did you want to make another comment, ma'am? No.
I just wanted to follow up because you were about to ask her if there can be trees planted to mitigate those noise. So I didn't want you to lose that point if that's a possibility.
So just to be clear, we don't typically plant trees or vegetation for noise abatement. Really, you need to have hundreds of feet of dense forest for a measurable amount. Now, I don't want to say it has no effect, but it's not enough. We never would propose just vegetation in place of a noise wall, because it tends to be kind of a mind over matter thing. If you can't see through the vegetation, it helps make it seem better. But if you were to take measurements, if you didn't have hundreds of feet of dense forest, it probably is only making a minuscule benefit. So I get that a lot. People say, well, can you plant stuff? I think it would help from an aesthetic standpoint, and maybe improve the visual buffer that it provides, but it's not a substantial benefit. I understand you feel it does, but okay. Yeah.
We're just asking if you will just explore all possibility for that, because we're already having to deal with noise from Formula One and now having to deal with this. And this is a nice community where family lives, and we have a lot of seniors that are here and children. So if you can explore all possibility, we'll appreciate it. Thank you.
We will
Thank you very
definitely
much.
look into that, bring it up to maintenance to find out what the reason why they were trimmed. Maybe they have utilities on top. We don't know. We'll bring it up, and if there is something that can be done, we'll do it.
Good afternoon. My name is Shirley Clark. My address is 19801 Northwest 7th Avenue. And I appreciate you gentlemen being here today. But I just had an AI briefing. If you don't know the answer, ask AI and see what they say. And this is a $1.4 billion project. They can put some money aside and build a forest if it need be. You can do anything. If we try to put a man on the moon, we can make this work for this community. I'm just saying, you guys are smart, but AI is smarter.
Thank you very much for your comment.
Hi, everyone. Again, following up on her comment, thank you for this forum. A few years ago, there was an article in the Miami Herald with columnist Dave Berry, and he did a humorous scenario where a police officer was in the Golden Glades area trying to deal with something, and he was driving around and he couldn't. So he just said he's getting out of his car and he's just gonna walk over. Don't know if that made a difference, but you said about the wrong way indicator. I want to find out, are you also going to be doing any public forum to indicate when you're done? Because for instance, going on State Road 9, there's a connection to go to 7th Avenue. And if you didn't know that area, sorry, you could actually miss the spot. So I want to find out if there's going to be any maybe PR when you're done for us to be aware of the exits and the roads.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that we can be aware of
Yes.
what's happening.
And you can expect as these improvements get implemented, we encourage everyone to, one, follow us on X, on Twitter, on GGI_FDOT, and also on the department's social media pages. We try to do our best job with making sure that we can, one, educate the public about different improvements and the progress that we're making and new ramps and bridges that get opened. So yes, you can expect some type of outreach and public relations campaigns as these improvements are implemented on the project, 100%. So we do encourage you. We have all of those links on our website, go-ggi.com, where you can follow us on Facebook, or follow us on X. Also give us a like on Facebook and Instagram as well for the FDOT District 6 pages. Very good point. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
My name is Junior Goldberg. I live at 18820 Northwest 14 Court, and I'm on the east side. So I'm going to be directly staring at the wall. And your workers, I don't know what they're doing, but yesterday they knocked down my electrical wires. They almost pulled the light pole down. And because the trees they were trying to pull down is attached to the wires, and they pulled everything down. So I was without power for about 4 or 5 hours yesterday. Also, when they pull in the trees, these are oak trees, and they're close to the fence that that you have up there. The roots going to pull the fence out. So how are they going to deal with that? Because sometimes I have animals that crawl underneath those fences and come to my yard, and I have small dogs. So
yeah, first of all, we deeply apologize about that inconvenience yesterday. There was a meeting that took place today to be able to address those situations and be able to see those situations ahead of time.
exactly.
So we're very sorry that you did have to experience that. Yeah, they did inform me about that yesterday, and I want to make sure that we also can have a line of communication on the newsletter that you received when you were signing in. My contact information is at the bottom. In this case, I know the project team got FPL out there as quickly as possible to be able to make that repair. So once again, we do apologize about that inconvenience. Now, when it comes to the fence, that's another form of communication that I really want to stay in contact with you. If at any point you do see any concern with the fence, or you see that there's a gap in the bottom, and we can maybe have the contractor just fill it up at the bottom and take care of any gaps, please let me know. If you see something, reach out to me. You can call me, email me, whatever is easier for you. So we want to make sure that moving forward, we can avoid any situations that can provide impacts to you. Because our goal is, of course, to build this project, but to be able to minimize the impacts to you as much as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, please.
Janet Gray, 1461 Northwest 192nd Street. Currently, the lighting in the area is terrible. It's really dark already, and some of the light comes from the turnpike. Once you install a wall, it's 22 feet. It's going to block a lot of the lighting that's in the area. You mentioned additional lighting, and it's in the pamphlet that additional lighting is going to be installed, but I don't know where. Is that one of the areas you're
I believe
considering
so. It needs,
to install more lighting?
yes.
So the job from Miami Gardens all the way to 199 is going to be installing new lighting all along the corridor. Right now, it's been set to be in the median, and it's going to have like a double arm. It's going to be sitting about like 40 feet high.
Okay, so we'll receive a lot of the lighting from the
Yes.
turnpike.
Yes,
That's what
from the
you're saying.
turnpike, correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Doris Johnson. My address is 184th and 20th Avenue. My question is from a health standpoint. In terms of the dust that's in the area, are there any studies being done to protect the residents from the dust? And if there's an issue, is there any mechanism in place for help for the community or for the residents?
So part of our mitigation strategies is to avoid any dust. We do have a water truck that goes throughout the entire project on a regular basis. So if at any point you do see a concern with dust, feel free to reach out to me. You know, we do have a water truck that goes throughout the entire project limits. So they're basically making their rounds. So our goal always is to have that water truck avoid any dust ahead of time. That's part of our mitigation strategy so that we don't get to the point where there is dust throughout the project limits. So please, my contact information is at the bottom of that newsletter. My name is Sergis, and if at any point you do see a concern with dust, we'll make sure to address that as quickly as possible.
Okay, because looking at the, length of time in terms of the project, it's a very, very, lengthy time. Also, you kept mentioning bridges. How many bridges are you constructing?
So we're constructing 34 new bridges, but that includes removing 23 of them. So, but that's 34. So just, I'm not sure if maybe you caught the beginning of the presentation or not. So this work that we're adding along the turnpike is advancing as part of the Golden Glades Interchange project. So it's not 34 new bridges just along the turnpike. This is a bigger program to reconstruct the entire Golden Glades Interchange, which connects I-95, the Palmetto, the Turnpike, State Road 7, and State Road 9. So the 34 bridges are throughout the entire project limits, which includes part of the Turnpike.
Okay, but it's pretty much in an area of mileage in terms of.
Yeah, at the interchange itself. Southbound to 135th Street, east to 167th Street and 2nd Avenue, north on the Turnpike to 199th Street, and the Palmetto to Northwest 19th Avenue. So our project limits are pretty expansive, but the core of the work is happening in the middle of the interchange where all of these roadways meet.
Okay. And in terms of traffic, will there at any point be traffic funneled through the community itself?
So I think, I don't know if you want to speak on that, Anit. There will be at one point a need to mill and resurface to repave and restripe on Miami Gardens Drive. So Anit, I don't know if you want to discuss. I think we do have at certain points a detour through Sunshine Parkway, right? Yeah.
We do. And it's the same detour that probably have been in place before, but we're not going to be adding any new detours from what the traffic has been experiencing today.
Okay.
But we're going to be closing Miami Gardens Drive.
Okay, so it won't impact any of the schools around in the
No,
area?
it will be at nighttime as well, so it shouldn't be.
Yeah, all of our roadway detours happen at night, usually between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. During daytime hours, you can expect for all the lanes to remain open.
At least for the FDOT projects.
Yeah, at least for this project, yeah.
All right, thank you.
Name's Candace Whitelock. I live at 19031 Northwest 14th Avenue Road. I have a couple questions. The widening, I didn't get where.
So the
it will be
widening is,
affected by the widening of the turnpike.
yeah, so the widening is happening on the northbound side of the turnpike, on the east side, closer to the Norland side. Okay, and we're widening the roadway and also widening the bridge over Miami Gardens Drive. There will be no widening or expansion work taking place on the southbound side of the turnpike between Northwest 177 Terrace and Northwest 199th Street.
So I always tell people like the turnpike is my backyard. We hear everything. We feel everything. What like the hours of this construction? Because like I suffer with migraines. I'm sick right now. My house shakes. I want to know, I honestly feel like I have to leave. So I want to know, when can I expect the trimmering and the tremors and all that stuff? Like when, what hours of the construction?
Sure, and to take a step back, I think something, and I'm not sure if we mentioned it or not, but it's really important to mention this. The first thing that's being installed as part of the project is the noise wall. So that is the first order of business for the contractor. We expect
But
them
we
to.
have a wall.
Are you on the east side?
Yes.
Yeah, so currently there's, I don't know, what street are you at?
Between 189th Terrace and 191st Street.
Yeah, so we're installing a 22-foot noise wall. It's gonna be, yeah, so in that first insert, you'll be able to see a diagram. So that noise wall is being installed just north of Miami Gardens Drive, all the way to Northwest 199th Street on the northbound turnpike side. So going back to what I was explaining is,
No, I'm on the southbound side.
okay, so on that side, the wall stays in place.
Right.
Yes.
Mhm.
So the hours of operation of the work could happen if they can do the work within the closed off roadway. If you've noticed, we've had the contractor set up an access road there. They can perform that work outside of any lane closures. Lane closures can only happen at night, but in terms of work, that could happen daytime or nighttime.
But it won't be on like a schedule.
Really, for the most part, this contractor has been pursuing the work pretty aggressively to try, like Raj mentioned, to try to get this work done before 2031. So we basically work around the clock throughout the interchange. Depending on where the contractor can work, there's certain areas where the contractor can only work at night because they need a detour, they need a lane closure. So they only work at night there. But in other areas where it doesn't impact traffic, they do work during daytime hours. At this moment, they have been working. A lot of the turnpike added work has been happening during daytime hours.
Right, currently.
Yes.
During the day.
And we can expect for that schedule to continue. Thank you. Any other in-person questions, comments, feedback? Good evening.
My name is Myron Johannes, and I live at 1662 Northwest 192nd Terrace. And I know you said you can't, you're not going to remove that wall. Is there any additional, footage that you could put on top of the existing wall, like what they did on 95? We had a real small wall, and then they increase it. Can they increase it with something lighter than concrete or something?
Would you like to maybe answer the limitations there?
So that's an existing wall right now. That footing pretty much holds probably only what has on top of it, which is a 7 foot. As to adding something that has, so the challenge is attaching something that's lighter that the existing footing can pretty much
You have
retain.
like that metal fencing and stuff that you could put at least an extra 4 feet on there. It wouldn't affect the wall in nowhere.
We could definitely look into that detail. The only thing, it has to be approved by Turnpike because anything that hits that wall has to be crash tested. So if there's an attachment that's already approved by the department that can be mounted on top of the 7-foot wall, that also doesn't provide new weight to the footing and the footing can withstand the new fissure, then it could definitely be something that we could look into.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions before we go to our virtual attendees?
As of right now, that wall got designed many years ago that the footing doesn't really withstand anything else, not even adding. If you were to put that wall on the new standards today, it probably wouldn't pass, right? So anything that you add to it is probably going to fail, which is very similar to what happens every time you try to add a new feature to an existing feature. Usually doesn't pass the new wind test that we now have to abide by on engineering, the new strength force that it has to also do. So that's the issue that we have with that wall. It's a wall that has been there for many years. It got designed with old criteria. The criteria have changed a lot through the years, just on wind speed alone and the crash-worthy test that it has to go through. So the answer is that it can get explored, but it's not going to really make a difference unless the wall can be changed completely, which it doesn't even an option because we have the Florida gas line transmission there. And most of the features, we don't touch them on engineering. It's mainly because of that. It gets grandfathered. And at the moment that we touch it and we have to analyze it, I can guarantee you it's not going to pass. And usually what you see even on the signals on roads that you see, you think that it's a new signal, but at the moment that you add just like a tiny camera on top of it, now the county or the state has to fund money for that because it doesn't abide by new standards.
Yeah, and even if the footing can, even if the footing can hold the additional weight, we will have to run it by Florida gas transmission because they might have restrictions on weight over their pipe. So we will look at it first to see if the footing holds the additional weight, and then if the FGT, Florida gas transmission, will approve adding additional weight to their pipe.
So right now, the noise study was performed by a company and they did the entire analysis. So they came up with it cannot hold anything else on top of that. That's why it wasn't recommended as part of that study. It could be looked at. The noise study already finalized and they looked at different recommendations. They looked at different scenarios. That's what the noise study pretty much does. They do an extensive analysis, even running programs, and that's how they know how much noise goes into the properties and then what are the thresholds. So sometimes yes, there's going to be noise, but there's a reason why it's okay. And there's some other areas that no, a wall is required. And they use other criteria and that would not allow them to do a new noise wall. They would state why they couldn't do it. As pretty much. Yes, every time that we looked at it, it's gonna come back probably.
We're not allowed to say that, but yeah. I mean, when we do our noise analysis, the guy who's running the computer program, he's not a structural engineer. He could put anything in the world that he wanted to put into the computer program. Ultimately, it's the structural engineers that said to us, don't even go there because we can't build it. So there's no point in even analyzing it. If you can't build it, then there's nothing, so don't pin it on the noise guys, I guess is what I'm saying. Pin it on the engineers. So.
All right, at this moment, we will move to our virtual attendees. Thank you, Ms. Valerie Cadet, for your patience at 315 Northwest 188th Street. And Ms. Cadet's questions are, will nearby property values likely increase, decrease, or fluctuate during construction? Are there protections if construction negatively impacts value? Will insurance premiums or flood risk ratings change because of roadway modifications? Our recommendation would be to probably contact the Miami-Dade County Property Appraiser's Office if there's any questions regarding any property values. And insurance premiums, I would also touch base with your existing insurance company to consult with them on those specific questions. I have page 2 of questions from Ms. Valerie Cadet. When will residents first notice impacts and when will relief begin? So like I mentioned, we have started with clearing and grubbing, which means removing and relocating some of the existing landscaping. But the important part of the project with the noise wall will begin first. So that will be the first order of business. On the northbound side, the contractor will install that 22-foot noise wall. So you will begin to see the relief starting as early as March, where the contractor will begin installing the noise wall. What time restrictions exist for overnight construction? Construction usually at the Golden Glades interchange does happen overnight as well. Like I mentioned, detours and lane closures happen usually between 9 p.m. and 5 a.m. So that's when you can expect overnight construction to take place. Is there a resident liaison or hotline specifically? Yes, I gladly serve as the liaison for the project. Once again, my name is Sergis Duarte. I'm the Senior Community Outreach Specialist. You can call me. The next slide here actually has my contact information. I'll just go to that slide now. Feel free to take a picture and reach out to me with any questions. In addition to that, to answer this question specifically, there is a hotline. That's 305-50-GO-GGI. So there's 2 ways to be able to get in contact with the project's liaison. Well, page 3, I'm sorry, of Ms. Cadet's questions. Will there be monitoring done near residential zone schools and hospitals? Yes, that is part of the mitigation efforts. If there is vibration monitoring that will be installed, yes, and we do have an inspection team that monitors all the work on behalf of the Department of Transportation. Mitigation threat, are mitigation thresholds defined? I'm not sure what type of mitigation thresholds you're looking for, but as I finish up these questions, Ms. Cadet, I will more than gladly have a conversation with you. Feel free to give me a call tomorrow. We can discuss all of these questions as well, but I will finish all of these questions that you submitted. I would love to be able to speak to you and provide this information to you one-on-one. Will findings be communicated publicly? If there is anything that you want to find out about the project, or if there's anything specific you want to know about the project, absolutely. We can share any information with you. Are alternate ambulance routing protocols in place for emergency, I guess EMS? Yes, there are. We work closely with Jackson North, with Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, with Miami-Dade Sheriff's Office. So yes, let's say that there is a lane that's closed and we have maintenance of traffic devices set up. We, of course, let them get through. It's really important to make sure that their response times are as short as possible. We understand emergencies happen. So yes, 100%, absolutely. There are routing protocols. How will hospital access routed be protected? We will always make sure there is access to the hospital. There's always a way to get through for any emergency vehicle. So please rest assured that they will be able to make it to the hospital as quickly and safely as possible. So I think, Ms. Cadet, those are all your questions that you submitted. But like I mentioned, please feel free to call me or email me tomorrow. Cell phone number 305-588-6399. Email sergis.duarte@dot.state.fl.us. Okay, and I'm hearing that there's another question that is coming from our online attendees. And I just want to say thank you, everyone who took time out of their night and evening to join us here as this next question comes in. From Ms. Zelda, will medical help be given to persons who experience headaches and other discomforts from the noise? If there is any type of medical attention that's needed, and if it's an emergency, I do encourage for that person to call 911 if needed. And if it's a non-emergency, there is a phone number online for Miami-Dade Fire Rescue. So there is medical help. If that person, if Ms. Zelda, if I don't know if this is for you or for anybody else, but if you do need medical help, we do have an amazing team in Miami-Dade County between police officers and our ambulance teams and Miami-Dade Fire Rescue who can help you out if there is any type of discomfort. But like I mentioned, our goal is to install that noise wall first, which will help shield from the construction that will be taking place on the northbound side. There will be no widening that's taking place on the southbound side. That will stay on the northbound side. Okay, I'm hearing no more questions from our virtual attendees. With that, we always like to end our presentations with a safety message. FDOT reminds you, don't text and drive and put it down. It's the law. Once again, thank you, everyone. Please visit our website, sign up for project updates at go-ggi.com. And thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Take care and please drive safely.